Hey guys, it's Greg. In this video we want to show you our top 10 titles which arrived to our home in this year. So on this list you are going to see some new titles, but I think there is at least one game not so new. I mean, it was published some time ago, but in this year it was let's say relaunched again with more complete edition. So if you want to see for us at least, the coolest game of this year, just check out this video.
The last game on the list surprised even us, but we can't move past the fact of how many times we have played Marvel Remix from WizKids and how much fun it is. We have it in our collection since October and we have played it at least 30 times. Yes, it's a very quick game, but it's also damn good. Why? It's very fast-paced, looks stunning, has endless replayability, has very elastic approach to creating combos, and it's super satisfying to do them. Any con we can find here is the quality of the cards. Sleeves are mandatory. This is the game many of you probably missed, mostly because the publisher behind it, Nemesis Games, is small and there wasn't that much marketing around the game. It's a pity because UPRISING Curse of the Emperor is an outstanding cooperative 4X experience. AI of the enemies is really good. The game is super challenging, replayability is very high, and the feeling of all aspects of the 4X genre is very strong here. All of the key rules are visible on the playmat, and asymmetrical growing during the game factions makes this game almost perfect. The core game works much better with Arch Nemesis expansion, which provides additional boss encounters at the final stage of the game, where each boss is super unique when it comes to its behavior. What can be an obstacle here is the visual side of the game. Acrylic standees are framed with disturbing eye colors, but on the other hand, it helps with super easy tracking of what is happening on the board. We are usually very careful when it comes to board game adaptations of famous video IP, but Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice blew us out not only by the fact how properly it imitates big screen experience, but moreover how great board game it is. It's our first encounter with the stealth genre, but I can't see what can be better than this. We have several unique assassins, a rich development system, a decent amount of equipment to personalize our heroes, events changing situations on the board, and many types of differently behaving enemies, each of these represented by stunning minis. Up to this, each scenario offers a unique setup and special conditions, often changing in the middle of the session, and all of it is closed in this big, challenging campaign. But what we like the most here are all of these epic moments when surrounded by enemies you are able to win them over by hiding at the last moment or using an ace up your sleeve. Looking at the downfalls, the story here is probably not the best one, usually in a form of short paragraphs before or after the scenario. It's nothing engaging or fascinating, but on the other hand, you can fully focus on the sweet and rich gameplay. This list couldn't be complete without my favorite EVERDELL. I've been obsessed with the game from the very beginning, and complete edition is my dream come true. When the original core game was almost perfect for me, I had mixed feelings about further expansions. Spirecrest was great, but Belfair made the game too easy and Pearlbook too random. And now Complete Collection introduces Mistwood and New Leaf, two wonderful add-ons making EVERDELL perfect again. A demi player from the Spire faction works wonders for 2P sessions, making them as fun and challenging as with a full player count. New Leaf offers a more mature, more complex solution to generate more resources in a less straightforward way, adding also personal goals in the form of visitors. The rest of the pros are all of the aspects we love EVERDELL for, especially stunning table presence, asymmetric factions, many ways toward victory, and a smooth card management system. It's hard to find any cons here, but it is a shame combining all expansions at the same time for epic session breaks the balance. Yes, I know it's an entirely different game than Terraforming Mars, however, card drafting system and ways for managing them, plus building personal zoos, remind TM in many ways, and ultimately we played Ark Nova by Verlandspiele many more times than Terraforming Mars this year. And it's hard to be surprised by this. Ark Nova deserves all of the praise around it. Skills on cards and combos you can create from them are great and very satisfying. Building your own zoo with an option for an asymmetric board for every player provides an entirely new level of strategy here. Double VP track working in the opposite ways is a wonderful mechanic, and everything you can unlock on your player board is very well combined with the rest of the stuff. And what makes Ark Nova truly excellent is how precisely and smoothly all of the game components are joined together, creating this epic engine you want to go back to all the time. We have many well-designed games, but Ark Nova wears the crown here. The only real con here is that starting hand can be quite painful for a few rounds if you have bad luck, but in the long run, it does not affect your chances of winning almost at all. There are also mixed voices about the visual side of the game. Greg simply finds it ugly when, for me, it's an okay approach, even bringing some nostalgia reminding encyclopedias and books about fauna. Stuff rather rare in our digital reality nowadays. It's probably the most subjective position in our ranking. HEXPLORE series by Marucci Designs is something that some board gamers will hate at the first sight, whereas others will love to death. And as you can guess, we belong to the second group. The domain of MIRZA NOCTIS is the newest, most streamlined version in the family. It is still this incredibly immersive ultimate adventure experience, the closest to the real D&D session with a good game master as possible, yet still it is a board game. Dozens of races, classes and traits allow you to create the most customized and unique heroes and parties of heroes, probably in the history of board games. Add to this a few hundred well-written, really different events, customizable maps to explore, villages, sanctuaries, crypts, dungeons, and many other places to visit, each offering tons of things to do. Not enough? Face a few dozen of bosses, even more regular enemies, where all of them can be faced at several levels of difficulty. Want more? Throw to these spells, blood magic, familiars, and even a book with lore. And guess what? All of it is properly well balanced. From the perspective of the cons, HEXPLORE is a table hogger. The rulebook could be a bit better and entry level is quite demanding, but all of it blends with the endless possibilities this game offers. Dead Reckoning by Alderac Entertainment Group is a total blast for us and for every single friend we play this game with. First of all, developing a crew cards system using transparent covers, named card crafting, is flawless, and simply this mechanic makes Dead Reckoning endlessly replayable. The feeling of the 4X game is strong here, and both Expand, Exploit, Explore and Exterminate are samely important. The amount of interaction between players is massive and can start easily from round 1, fighting for influence on the islands or even simply challenging opponents' ships. It's shocking how, with the rather sandbox nature of the game, everything here is balanced properly. Explore further lands, conquer islands and build stuff on them, generate resources and trade them, upgrade your ships and crew, and finally fight with others. Any action, resource and development here counts. Any strategy can be right and help you win the game. The situation on the board is very dynamic, downtime is very little between turns, and the game catches your attention for the whole session. Campaign mode adds to the gameplay unique, sometimes very epic events, changing situation on the board, offering new mechanics, and even adding new components to the session. And the whole game is still simple enough to fastly teach most of the players, also the casual ones. But most of all, Dead Reckoning is super fun to play, every single time. The only con for us is the theme, but fortunately, pirates here are mixed a bit with supernatural stuff, making it more exciting. I can't even count how many times this year we have played Return to the Dark Tower by Restoration Games. One of the main reasons behind this is the fact that setup takes no time and all chores are managed by one of the greatest companion apps we have seen, so it's effortless to start playing. And thanks to this, you can focus only on gameplay, which is one of the best co-op non-campaign experiences we ever had. Several unique characters with clear yet effective development system, including new skills, items and artifacts. Constantly changing map, which spams new challenges in form of enemies, quests and dungeons. Exploring dungeons has its own super engaging push your luck mechanic, providing a massive amount of emotions at the table. And the same is for combat with enemies. Companions joining our cause during the scenarios and winning the favor of the 4 factions by unlocking new boosts are another simple yet brilliant solutions. A massive amount of scenario combinations is possible thanks to the options you choose during setup, and the most influencing here are the bosses, each totally unique, focusing on different aspects of the game and forcing players always be at their toes. The main point of attraction, Dark Tower, not only looks fancy but it's fully tied with the gameplay, providing plenty of new obstacles and a lot of tension. Worth praying is also a streamlined approach to most of the mechanics. This game is a totally opposite definition of the word fiddly, a problem affecting many games of this genre. When it comes to neutrals, the only thing worrying us in the distant future is the durability of the electronic parts of the tower, but it's impossible to judge this at this point. From cons, it would be great to see more cards with artifacts and companions. Fortunately, part of this and much other stuff will be added with the newest expansion. If you follow our YouTube channel, this shouldn't be a surprise for you at all, because we published an honest and precise review about this game several weeks ago, where most of this content is deserved praise. Oathsworn Into the Deepwood by Shadowborn game is, and I do not exaggerate in saying this, probably the best story-driven campaign experience we ever had. The story, narration, a plot full of suspense is as good as this from Folklore, Measure of Madness and Mortum. Mechanics take the best from the board game market and spice it up with some clever ideas. Add to this tense, creative encounters, stunning minis, streamlined rules freeing us from everything we didn't like in Gloomhaven, and a brilliant system of cards replacing dice during the combat. Each hero is totally unique, the development system is clear and satisfying, and room for different tactics and strategies is endless. But what makes it even better are the smaller things like the open approach of the designers, listening to the community and making everything as smooth as possible, despite Oathsworn being a massive game, including short setup, convenient storage, and decent app with full climatic voiceover. The only complaint we have about the game are minor bugs, and sometimes not enough clarification on cards slowing down some encounters, but this was already addressed during the last reprint campaign on Kickstarter. And here we are, the very top of our ranking for 2022 is occupied by one and only Wonderland's War by Druid City Games. This game smashed every single newer area control game in our collection. It can proudly stand next to the games like Forbidden Stars or Cthulhu Wars. There wasn't a single player at our home who haven't fallen in love with the game. Production, table presence and even storage solution are wonderfully executed, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. The Tea Party phase is super unique for this genre of games, and picking the right cards while predicting the movements of other players and minimizing the number of Madness shards collected works flawlessly here. Each faction plays differently, and asymmetrical skills are both very thematic and cool to play with, where Mad Hatter focuses on the Tea Party phase and quest, then Queen of Hearts spreads on the map like the plague. Standing ovation for the designer responsible for back and pull building mechanic, where both push your luck and strategic approach are perfectly balanced. Thanks to this, every single battle for each territory is engaging and super tense. The possibility to forge some tokens is so well combined with player boards, quests, future battles, and the VP system that it's hard to find words for describing it. There are many ways to build your back. It's a paradise for strategy lovers, and 4 variations of ally cards and chips offers very high replayability. Throw to these unique Wonderlandians to recruit, various item chips to gain, and a few dozen quests to fulfill to get one of the best area control games the board game market has to offer. Cons? Non-existing, although some players report a disbalance between 2 factions, which was addressed during the last reprint campaign. This was our own personal, honest and super subjective top 10 games of passing 2022. What is yours? Share it with us in the comments and see you at the next game.